Afternoon all, Gary O'Toole here. Just wanted to say hello and assure you I'm still keeping up to date with pushing the site forward. It's taken a little bit of a turn. It's been, on the one hand, I've been working very hard just trying to get some videos together and to make sure that everything gets put in line so that everybody can see the videos that I do. And the way I do that is either by doing something like this, you know, FaceTime Live, or breaking the fourth wall, as I like to refer to it, or I put something up on YouTube. And that very often will actually change from time to time. It does seem, for some strange reason, that the last few that I've done haven't actually gone up there. But I'm looking into that today. I've got a new video that's all about teaching you how to use quintuplets, how to play quintuplet grooves, how to actually do that with fills and grooves and solos. So hopefully that will be of interest. And also, there's more green out there. It's not been quite so wet, but over the last few days I've been showing you green stuff as I've been travelling into London. It's been quite nice early in the morning going into kickboxing, where I get roughed up for a little while and feel much better for it, and then go on to my school in Store Street in central London. So I'm going to be putting this video out on YouTube. It's on my channel, Gary O'Toole. If you put that in on YouTube, you'll find me. As I say, there's some very old videos on there, but I will be putting up some newer ones. And this is all as a run-up to actually getting the site live once and for all. It should be done within the next 28 days. At least that's the challenge that I'm currently facing. And it might even be before that if I can get all the artwork done. One of the things that I'm doing for drummers is to entice people to come in and have a look, is to give you a free ebook, which is how to read in drum score from scratch. So I will be doing much more of that sort of thing as we go along. There were a couple of questions that I got asked the last time that I did a live video, and I thought I'd put those to rest. First of all, one of them was, what was it? It was about gigs. What is a gig? A gig is a job. When you go and you do any kind of work as a musician, we could be asked to do a number of things. We could be asked to actually go and play a gig in a pub. It could be at the Royal Albert Hall, but it's a gig. It means that you're blocking that time out to go to work. So that's what a gig is. It doesn't matter if you're actually working at the Royal Albert Hall or in a studio doing a cartoon. It's still a gig. So yeah, a gig is work, and that's spelt G-I-G. The other question that I had, which was from Chris, which was interesting, was that when I was actually coming through, I watched an awful lot of drummers and I listened to an awful lot of stuff. And the question was really about how somebody gets influenced, and is it a good influence if they're listening to like brass bands and working through with like marching band things, especially like the American guys. You've only got to look at some of the class acts that the Americans have got, like Steve Gadd, and know that he actually started his career by playing in those kind of scenarios. Really, once you start to play any style of music, you have to take on the atmosphere that is part of that music. Certainly, as I would work in studios, it was very, very clear with the kind of sound that was required from the drums, what the vibe of the song was going to be. I remember working with, I remember I did some work on an album by Skin, and what was required on that particular instance was that I played brushes in part of it, and then go to sticks, which was to say it was really, really soft and gentle. And then in the second half of the song, it was a lot bigger with an orchestra, and it was an amazing sound. I remember that. Sadly, the brushes part of it never actually made the track, but it was a really wonderful idea. They decided just to keep it very, very solid. That was some time ago. The stuff that I did with our Mr. Hackett was very much the odd time signature and still maintaining that melody that goes through. So the intensity from the drums would be very rocky in part and very, very quiet and almost folky in other parts. Even to the point where at one point I was playing a shaker and singing vocals with him on stage. So there does tend to be a mixture of ideas of what's required from a drummer. If you listen to drum and bass as well, you start to really get an idea that actually if you listen to Sue, a track off of the last David Bowie album, that's drum and bass, and it's great. The thing about that is if you listen back to the stuff that you had in like the 70s, or even Jimi Hendrix, where the drums were playing this snare and bass drum combination, it's very, very similar in approach to the sort of the old funky approach to now using something that's much faster. Because back in those days, generally speaking, you weren't going to be playing terribly fast, but the Bowie track, I think, is up around 170 beats per minute, so it's quite quick. What else was there? I was just mentioning about the new video that I've put together. I've just wasted the best part of an hour on YouTube putting the caption credits on the bottom, so that as you get the what I'm saying just moves along on the bottom of the screen, and it dumped a lot. It's all part of being an entrepreneur and doing your own thing. What else was there? Have I mentioned everything? Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's been a hectic few weeks trying to keep up with everything that I want to do. I think there's an awful lot to be said for trying to diversify. So I'm writing more books. I'm using them with my students, and it seems to be going down quite well. What I have done as an addition to that is I've videoed myself playing through this book on reading from scratch, reading drum score from scratch, and I will be charging for that. But that gives you an opportunity to be able to play it through at home. So any drummers out there, or if you know any drummers, let them know that that's all going to be that's going to be coming. Fingers crossed. I've been talking about it as being 28 days, but I'm hoping that I'm going to have it up live in 2 weeks, and then I'll just start telling everybody about it. So any further questions, please let me know. But in the meantime, this is O'Toole just signing off. So it's ta-ta for now. TTFN.